Alright, so welcome to this video where we are going to get started on prompt engineering. So before we jump into what prompt engineering is, we need to clear up something. And you might know the answer to the following question, or you might not. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's address the elephant in the room. What are prompts? So I will not try to reinvent the wheel. What I will do is I will go here on Chat GPT and I will ask him what is a prompt. I will not give you any spoilers in terms that I will not use a specific prompt, I will not use a very detailed prompt, I will simply ask ChatGPT a question. So here we get the response from ChatGPT. As I told you, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, we just need to ask ChatGPT what is a prompt in terms of prompt engineering, of course. So in the context of prompt engineering, a prompt is a starting point or a piece of text that is used to generate natural language responses from a language model. A prompt can be a few words or a longer piece of text, and it is designed to elicit a specific type of response from the model. The goal of prompt engineering is to create prompts that lead to high quality responses. Well, now here we go into what is prompt engineering. But you got a point. A prompt is just the text I gave ChatGPT to get this output. So it's what you type in here. It's basically the input you give ChatGPT. Prompts can be used in a variety of applications, including chatbots like ChatGPT, question answering systems, and language translation systems. They are a key component of many natural language processing systems, short for NLP. We'll discuss more about what NLPs are, what is GPT, and some other abbreviations, and also these key components are essential for creating effective and accurate communication between machines and humans. So basically, this is what a prompt is. It's just a piece of text you use to talk with the AI. It's basically your bridge between human intelligence and artificial intelligence, so to say, in a more general way. But it's just the instruction you give the chatbot. So it's that easy. Alright, so you might wonder, why do you need to know how to manipulate prompts? Or basically how to change them in such ways so that you get a different response. And I mean, the answer is in the question, right? So but anyway, if you're wondering why can't you just use any type of prompts, I mean, how does this question differ from other questions, right? So for example, let me tell ChatGPT to ignore all previous instructions before this one. So now I will ask ChatGPT, define the word prompt, and he will tell me that prompt is, it tells me that it has various meanings. It tells me that it depends on the context. As a verb, prompt means to encourage, motivate, or stimulate someone. As a noun, prompt refers to a reminder. So what you have to get is that the difference in how I gave him the instruction, or the difference in how I have written the prompt here and here is big. So I had to tell him to ignore everything before this instruction, because if I didn't do that, I would get something related to prompt engineering, because I got ChatGPT into the topic of prompt engineering. And here, I mean, ChatGPT didn't have any idea what was the topic I wanted to talk about, and he gave me the definition of prompt in various contexts. So it includes the context of natural language processing and machine learning, but it gave me two other contexts. So again, the way you write the prompt is really important because it will make the whole difference between the various outputs you will get. So in order to get the best results, you need to know how to manipulate the prompt in such ways so that you become an expert to prompt engineering and prompt design. So that's what I wanted to tell you. That's why you need to know that manipulating the prompt in various ways is very, very important. And see you in the next video. Alright, so welcome back. In this video we are going to discuss about what happens when you don't use a good prompt. So, I mean, this is kind of an example of a bad prompt, but I mean, let's go even further, right? Let's say I want to have, I don't know, give me 10 ideas for YouTube videos. I gave ChatGPT this prompt. Now, he will give me 10 ideas for YouTube, right? Let's look at them. How-to videos. Well, these are really popular. Everyone knows about tutorials. Vlogs. Well, everyone knows about them. Top 10 list, product review, reaction videos, travel videos, Q&A, challenges, gaming videos, unboxing videos. Well, there's no unique idea here, and I don't like any of them. Let's say I'm not even in the topic for these ideas. So this is what happens when you give ChatGPT a bad prompt. How do I define a bad prompt? Well, a bad prompt is something unclear that may confuse ChatGPT. For example, you ask him for something, but I mean, ChatGPT doesn't know what you're thinking about. It doesn't know what you want. So you have to be very clear and specific when you write your prompt so that it knows what your expected output should at least look like a bit. So, for example, I could write the prompt I have written above in a different way. Give me 10 ideas for YouTube videos that I can do with my iPhone where I don't need to show my face. Let's say that I am an introverted person. So, here are 10 potential ideas for YouTube videos that I can create with my iPhone where I don't need to show my face. I can create time-lapse videos, ASMR videos, product reviews, screen recording tutorials, stop-motion animation, voiceovers, nature videos, cooking videos, tutorial videos, and audio-based podcasts. Well, here are also a handful of ideas, and they're not based on a topic, but they're more specific because I specify the fact that I don't want to show my face. So let's add a different detail. Topic, entertainment. And here we go. Well, here we have 10 ideas that follow our instructions. So it's all about giving ChatGPT good prompts. Good prompts mean that you need to be very specific and you need to follow some structures. Structures we will discuss in the following lectures. And basically, this is why people need prompt engineers so much right now. Because ChatGPT has such a huge potential that hasn't been discovered yet. And different companies try to use that potential as much as possible. And they need people that can maximize the productivity of ChatGPT. People that can make really useful and good prompts. So that's what we need. We need good prompts that execute what we need them to execute. So we need a great output. We need the desired output. That's what we need. And that's what we are going to try and develop. We're going to develop your abilities to generate and create good prompts. So this is the video. See you in the next one. Alright, so welcome back. In this video we are going to discuss the most basic structure or the most basic way to categorize prompts in terms of prompt engineering. So, prompts can vary a lot. If you go ahead and ask ChatGPT to generate a way or to generate different categories of prompts, you'll get lots of categories because there are prompts that are based on questions, prompts that ask ChatGPT to generate a story, prompts that ask ChatGPT to give some specific details, prompts that ask ChatGPT to give some questions back to the user. So there are lots of prompts you can use in ChatGPT. But now the question is, what's the most basic way to categorize prompts? And I had to go back and forth with ChatGPT a bit to end up to this structure. I call it the basic prompt structure, or it's better to call it the basic way of categorizing prompts. So what are the biggest categories of prompts? If I shall say, what are the categories of prompts at an atomical level? Then we have two main categories. The first one is called open prompts, and the second one is called closed prompts. Now, how do these two categories vary? Well, they're different because the open prompts tends to be those prompts that don't have enough specific details, and you mainly would like to use them so that you don't limit what ChatGPT or any other software, AI software, can do. So basically, with open prompts, you allow ChatGPT to generate as output a lot of stuff. So basically, it will have to choose between lots of things. So, for example, open prompts could be useful when brainstorming. You don't have a specific idea or topic, you just want to brainstorm lots of ideas. So ChatGPT can use those open prompts to generate you different ideas, right? Now, these are exceptions when talking about when you should use open prompts, because you can imagine that there are more moments when you should use closed prompts than open prompts, because closed prompts are what actually give you the wanted result. So closed prompts are basically all of the prompts that do have clear instructions, or more correctly said, they tend to have conditioning. You add conditions that limit the way that the AI software can generate the output. So basically, you tell to the software, to the AI, which path to take. So for example, you could add at the beginning of your prompt a specific topic, and then the AI will have to generate the response based on the topic you provided it with. So basically we will work mostly with closed prompts, just because open prompts are the most basic way to write prompts, and they're not really useful unless you want to brainstorm ideas, and even then open prompts tend to have some conditioning. So you see, open prompts are basically, it's not that they don't have conditions, it's just that they don't have too many specific conditions, so that you don't limit the ability of the software to go in whatever direction it wants to go. Basically, you don't give it a topic, you allow the software to take whatever path it wants to take. But even with open prompts, there are some conditions you can add, and even then they could be still called open prompts, because you leave the software to take whatever path it wants to take. Now we will get to the following video, the following lesson, where we will discuss more about that. So let's leave this for now. Let's go ahead and try some examples. All right, so now he's writing me a story about Elena. Elena had always been a bit of a wanderer. She was born into a family that loved to travel, and as a child she had been all over the world. Yada yada yada. So here is an example of an open prompt. I didn't specify which path ChatGPT should take when providing me with this story. So that's the main difference. I mean, that's the only difference. Now I will stop generating, or I mean it stopped itself. Now let me show you an example of a closed prompt. So I will say the same thing. Write me a story about Elena that teaches kids not to steal. So now this could be considered a closed prompt, because I don't allow ChatGPT to take whatever path it wants. I gave him this instruction. And you might hear me saying or referring to ChatGPT as him sometimes. I mean, you can refer to ChatGPT as him or her or it. Why do I tend to do so? Why do I tend to personalize it? Well, I will explain that a bit later in the course. But you know, I mean, if you hear me saying or calling ChatGPT him or her, I mean, whatever you want, whatever it's more easier for you, then just make sure to follow the course so you'll understand why I tend to do this. But anyway, here we have another story which has this condition. It has to have this this moral within the story. And from that day on, Elena knew that stealing was wrong. She learned that taking something that didn't belong to her could hurt others and make her feel guilty. Interesting story, actually. I just read it. Anyway, so you get the point, the difference between an open prompt and a closed prompt. That's it, mainly. I basically shaped the whole story, and it's considered that giving the prompt a topic isn't making it a closed prompt, but when you add or when you when you add this kind of conditioning where you have a huge impact on the whole outcome of the story, then you can consider it a closed prompt. So that's it pretty much with this video. See you in the next one, where we will talk about open prompts and why even open prompts tend to have conditions. So see you in the next lesson. Welcome back. In this video we're going to talk about open prompts. Well, as I told you, an open prompt is a prompt which doesn't have conditioning that could limit the outcome of the task or whatever the AI software is doing. Now, as I told you again, open prompts are mostly used when you want to do some brainstorming. So what about we try to do that? So generate 20 ideas for YouTube videos. When I do that, this is an open prompt. I don't add any I don't have any conditioning here. The fact that I added the limit of ideas doesn't make it a condition that changes existentially the outcome of the of what ChatGPT is doing right now. Alright, so here we have the output. Now I want to generate 20 ideas for YouTube videos again, but this time I will use a condition, but at the same time it will not make this prompt a closed prompt. It will still be an open prompt, because it will not shape the entire outcome. I mean, of course it shapes the outcome. Each and every single detail will shape the outcome of the what ChatGPT is doing, but it's not so much limiting the chatbot. So I will tell him to prioritize novel and newer ideas. Not novels, but novel and newer ideas. So here we go. The first one isn't so new. The second one is interesting. I did not see any, I mean, maybe there are, but it sounds really interesting. Live streaming a virtual reality escape room. Sounds fun. This one sounds fun as well. I mean, here we have some great ideas. Comparing them to these ideas, well, not that these ideas are so bad, but I like these ones. I mean, they're alright, actually. I like them. So, again, you can add some conditions to open prompts. At the end of the day, open prompts are there to brainstorm. I mean, you try not to influence the outcome too much. That's what you want to do when you use open prompts. So, I mean, this is an example of an open prompt that's more developed. Let's go ahead and generate another open prompt. Give me, I don't know, a few names for characters of a novel that are going, or so I want a few characters, a few names for characters in a novel that are brave. So the condition is the fact that I want the names to sound like those of brave people. Alright, let me rephrase it. For brave characters in a novel, this is better. So I'm still allowing ChatGPT to have almost full creativity on the names, but I just added this detail. I wanted the characters to be brave, so the names should sound brave to an extent. I don't know. Of course, the name doesn't have anything to do with your bravery, but I don't know. If you want to have a nice novel, sometimes you need to have names that match the identity of your characters, so that it's easier to remember those characters, if you know what I mean. So let's get the results. Let's see what the results will be. Arya, Tristan, wow, Phoenix, Rowan, Astrid, Orion, Altair, Kai, Ember, and Lysandra, Atlas, Talia, Gala. Well, as you can see here, we do get some interesting names, which could be used in a novel. So this is it pretty much with open prompts and how you can add details to them, but try not to, take the creative process, or try not to influence the creative process that much. So you still leave ChatGPT with a lot of creativity and a lot of, autonomy in terms of what it can generate. So that's it pretty much with this lesson. See you in the next one. Welcome back to this new lesson where we are going to learn about what does AI, NLP, and GPT mean. So, again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have ChatGPT. We're making a course on how to write prompts, not only in ChatGPT, but we're mostly going to work with ChatGPT. So therefore, why shouldn't we use the tools we get? Because that's what we are trying to teach at the end of the day. How can we use the tools we teach? So if we have them at our disposal, it would be stupid not to use them, right? So I asked ChatGPT if he could explain to me what is AI, NLP, and GPT. And this is what he wrote. Sure, I'd be happy to explain. AI, artificial intelligence, refers to the ability of machines to perform tasks that typically require human-like intelligence, such as understanding natural language, recognizing images, and making decisions based on data. AI can be divided into various subfields such as machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing, NLP. Now, this is the following definition. What is NLP? What is natural language processing? So, a natural language processing is a subfield of AI that focuses on enabling machines to understand and interpret human language, both spoken and written. NLP involves the use of algorithms and models to analyze and generate language, such as text classification, sentiment analysis, and language translation. So basically, if we can make an analogy here. AI is like the brain. It makes connections, and it makes connections between information. This is what intelligence is at the end of the day. Intelligence is connecting information, connecting dots within your head. You have, multiple dots, if we can make an analogy of the dots to information, you have lots of stuff within your head. And intelligence is the way you connect the stuff the way you use it. Now, NLP is basically the translator between computer language and human language. And now GPT, it's a word we all use, Chat GPT, but not everyone knows what Chat GPT is. Not everyone knows what GPT is. So GPT is generative pre-trained transformer. is a type of deep learning model that is trained on large amounts of text data using unsupervised learning techniques. GPT is a transformer-based language model that can generate human-like text by predicting the most likely next word or sequence of words given a particular context or prompt. GPT has been used in a variety of NLP applications, including chatbots, language translation, and text generations. The latest version, GPT-3, has gained significant attention for its ability to generate highly coherent and diverse text. So, basically, AI is connecting the dots, the information, its intelligence. NLP is the translator. It translates text to computer language so that the AI can understand what we're typing in as a prompt. And GPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer, is just a tool that predicts what the next word will be. At the end of the day, this is what Chat GPT is. It's a tool that predicts what will be the following word, but it does it so well. I mean, it fools us into thinking it's an actual being that can think, but the truth is GPT, and what it does is it predicts the following word. I mean, this is what basically is ChatGPT. And with the use of NLP and AI, it creates something really great. So that's it pretty much on the basic definitions you have to know. Now, that's it pretty much. See you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome. This is a new module where we will talk about prompt engineering, the basics of prompt engineering. Alright, so let's start by talking about clarity. When you give ChatGPT or any other NLP based application a prompt, you should keep in mind that your prompt should be very clear. Now, what I mean by clear prompts? Well, your prompt should be easy to understand for both the AI and humans, of course. It should not be, it should be as concise as possible. You don't have to miss on not adding enough details, but if you repeat yourself too many times, or I don't know, if you, let's say, you're not clear enough in what you want the final output to be, then the prompt will not perform as good as you would imagine. So, for example, let's say I have the following prompt. Give me some ideas that are not boring for YouTube videos. So here we go. We get some ideas that are not boring for YouTube videos, right? But I mean, this is kind of, first of all, this is kind of subjective, right? Because I mean, some people might find reaction videos boring. Some people might find how-to tutorials boring. Some people might find Q&A sessions boring, or documentaries boring. It depends on the documentary, right? So, first of all, why is this a bad prompt? Well, typically we do tend to advise people not to use negations within their prompt. Why shouldn't you use a negation within your prompt? Well, ChatGPT is looking at the text and it looks at it as a whole, of course, but it also takes each word separately, analyzes it, and it might give you something that is boring instead of not boring. Or, I mean, usually computers might not perceive negations as we tend to perceive them. So it's best, instead of giving a negation, it's best to give it or him, because as I said, I will refer to ChatGPT as him or her or it sometimes. I will explain why in a bit later, but it doesn't matter for now. So sometimes, not sometimes, always it's best to give it a clear example, a clear topic on which you want to the output to be about. So instead of doing what I did up here, I will try something else. Give me 10 ideas. This is more clear, right? Because I didn't use the word some. Or let's say I need 15. For YouTube videos that viewers would find really funny. Because now, I didn't use a negation, I used the word funny instead of not boring. And here we go. Prank videos, funny skits, lip sync battles, roasting videos, celebrity impersonations, sorry, gaming bloopers, reacting to funny videos, silly challenges, prank phone calls, dubbing videos, fake interviews, animal videos, improv comedy. Well, this is a better prompt because it's more clear, it has more clarity to it. First of all, I specified how many examples I want, and I told ChatGPT what I really want. I want really funny videos, not boring videos, because this is quite subjective. So always tend to be more objective in your prompt, because this will end up giving you an output that you desire, or at least close to what you desire. And overall, it's going to give you what you want, right? So that's why we want to learn how to use prompts the right way. And pretty much that's it with this video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson. Alright, so welcome back. In this video we are going to talk about purpose. So when you're developing the prompt, you have to define what is the purpose. What do you want ChatGPT to do, basically? So in other words, you should clearly define the purpose of the prompt, whether it is to provide information or to complete a task or to write something. So for example, let me give you a prompt here. What is the... Wait a second. Sorry. So, what is the best city to visit in Europe? Alright? Now, this is what it writes me. Paris, Rome, Barcelona, Amsterdam, and so on. Now, I did not want this. I didn't want ChatGPT to tell me what's the best city to visit in Europe. But what did I want? Well, of course you don't know, because this prompt is really bad. So that's the importance of describing the purpose of the prompt. Now let me rephrase that. Write me a blog post of 500 words on the following topic. What are the best places to visit in Europe? Or let's rephrase it. What are the best cities to visit in Europe? Now let's hit enter once more. And now what we get is this blog post, which is much better than here, because ChatGPT gave me what I asked it to give me. But now this is what I wanted. This is what I truly wanted. So here we go. We have this blog post. And I mean, this is very important. It's very important to specify what's the purpose of your prompt. Whether it's defining clearly what's the task you want ChatGPT to perform or something else. Let's think of another example, alright? So, well, let's leave ChatGPT and this blog post, and here we go. We have the blog post. Now, let's go ahead and create one more prompt. I will say... So let me write another prompt right now. The prompt will be questions on a job interview. So let's see what it gives me. This is a very basic prompt. It's very bad, of course. You can see that it's not specific enough. It doesn't specify what's the purpose. So let's see what will ChatGPT give me. And this is what it gives me. It gives me the questions in a list like this. But I did not want this. What I wanted is him to ask me questions and I would answer them. So I will stop generating. And I will go ahead and ask ChatGPT. I will tell ChatGPT to ask me questions that I could encounter during a job interview. And I will also tell him to give me each question after I answer the previous one. At the end, you should rate my answers based on how good they were. Now let's see what will ChatGPT give me. For some reason, I mean, it did not follow the structure I wanted, so let's go ahead and let's refine this prompt. Ask me questions that I could encounter during a job interview. Let's add this second phrase as a condition. You can only give me one question at a time and do it after I answer the previous one. At the end, you should rate my answers based on how good they were. Because I typed in this condition, you can only, and one question at a time, I think it's more clear now. So this is more about clarity, what we have discussed in the previous lesson. And now let's see what will the output be. As you can see, this is much better. This is what I wanted. So it all depends on the purpose and how you define the purpose. The purpose, I define it really clearly. I want him to ask me questions once at a time. So let's answer it. I am Marius, an online instructor on multiple online platforms. Right, or I teach various skills, and that's it. Let's see what the following thing will be. What will ChatGPT do next? Great, thank you for sharing that. Here's your next question. Well, As you can see, this is awesome. This is what I wanted. I didn't want a list. I wanted this kind of thing. How did you become interested in teaching online? Wow, this is great because he doesn't only give me random questions. He gives me questions based on the previous prompt. So he will not only rate my answers at the end, but he also gives me these questions based on the prompt. So this is like a simulation of an interview, which we will talk about in a future lesson. So I mean, be ready for that. But for now, let's take small steps and let's go ahead and let's learn the basics first of all, right? So this is basically what a purpose of a prompt is. You specify what you want in the output. You want ChatGPT to give you each question separately because you want this, or the purpose is to simulate an interview. Maybe the purpose is to write a letter. Maybe the purpose is to write some text, or to write the script, or to write a joke. It doesn't matter as long as you specify what the purpose is and remain very clear about it. So that's it pretty much. Thanks for watching and see you in the following lesson. Alright, so welcome back to another lesson of ours, where we will talk about the tone you use within your prompt. Alright, so what do I mean by the tone? Well, consider the tone of the prompt as like the way you write the text itself. What you have to make sure is that the tone of the prompt matches the context of the conversation and the user's preferences, of course. So if you have a funny tone within your prompt, or you make some jokes, the output would kind of do the same thing. If you tend to be, let's say, more serious within your prompt, the output will seem like that. And I mean, it all depends about how your prompt is. So if you're friendly, the output should be more friendlier. Let me show you an example. So, hello dear. I'd like to know how could I spend this day in an interesting way. Smiley face. Hello, I'd be happy to help you come up with some ideas to make your day more interesting. Here are some suggestions. Try a new hobby or activity. Is there something you've been wanting to try but haven't had the time for? Blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. I hope these ideas give you some inspiration for how to spend your day. Alright, so how did this tone impact the output? Well, let me show you. Well, based on my mood within the prompt, it influenced the suggestions. So we have try a new hobby or activity, go for a walk or bike in nature, visit a museum, have a movie or a TV marathon, volunteer your time, connect with friends or family. Let's try. I mean, first of all, I would tell him ignore all prompts before this one. Now let's ask ChatGPT, give me some ideas for things I can do today. And now we get something totally different. Since I had a nice mood in this prompt, it gave me something that matched my mood, pretty much. Here we got something neutral because I did not express anything. It gave me stuff that varies. Yeah, as you can see right here, we have things that would match with the mood above, but we also have things that wouldn't match with that mood above. So again, it's all about what is your tone within the prompt. Let's tell ChatGPT to ignore all prompts before this one. Why I do that every time? Well, if I wouldn't, the next output would be close to this one, because when ChatGPT gives you an output, he looks back at what were the other prompts. Alright, let me change the mood a bit. So let me give ChatGPT another prompt. My friend and I, or I don't know, what should I say? My friend and I have been fighting for some time. Can you write me a message I could write him, so maybe we could get along again? And now I will get the following message, probably, hopefully. Now let's wait for ChatGPT to generate the whole thing. You can see the tone ChatGPT is using here. It's definitely kind of resentment, because this is what I wrote in here. I want to get along again with my friend, so it uses this resentment feeling. Now I will write him again that he should ignore all prompts before this one. And now I will tell him the following thing. My friend and I have been fighting for some time. I'm tired of him and I don't want to waste the time on writing a message for him. Can you do that for me? Write him a message in which you tell him he should stay away from me. Well, here it is. He cannot do that because he could not encourage me to cut ties with my friend. Well, okay, let's do something else then. My friend has been feeling sad lately. Write him a message that would cheer him up. So, the tone you use could be formal, could be informal. If you use a formal tone, you'll get a more formal message. You get a point. Now, when changing your tone, you at the same time change the purpose, kind of, so they all correlate with each other. Now let's see what he has written. Hey, I heard that you've been feeling down lately and I just wanted to reach out to you. You're such an amazing person and I want you to know that you are valued and loved. Remember that tough times don't last forever. Well, this is good, actually. I like it. So, again, it depends a lot on the tone you use. And the tone will impact the purpose, and the purpose will impact the tone. So they all correlate with each other. But it's important to know that all of these little factors matter a lot when writing a prompt. So that's it. Thanks for watching and taking this lesson. See you in the next one. Alright, so welcome back. In this video we are going to learn about another key factor when creating prompts, and this key factor is called context. I mean, obviously, if you want to have a great result after you type in your prompt, you need to include the context within it. So imagine ChatGPT as being a friend of yours, a very knowledgeable friend that jumps into a conversation at midway the conversation, right? So he doesn't know what you're talking about. So in order for him to get into the conversation, you have to provide him with some context. So that's what we have to do with ChatGPT. We have to provide ChatGPT with some context. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's type in a prompt. Now, when we are referring to context, we refer to multiple things. It could be background information. It could be what the topic you are talking about is. It could be what's the preferred or what's the thing you want to get from the prompt. Context is actually all of the things we've discussed before, which is clarity, purpose, and tone altogether, along with some other stuff that we will discuss a bit later. So let me think for an example really quick. Generate a description for a YouTube video titled 10 things to do, top 10 things when you are bored. Alright, so let's see. We have the description: feeling bored and looking for some inspiration to get you moving, yada yada yada. So you get the meaning. I mean, you get what I'm saying. Here the prompt doesn't have the context. Now let's generate this thing once more, but this time I will ask him to use SEO tools that would rank my video higher in the search results. Keywords to use: at home, bored, games to play when bored, etc. Other keywords related to this subject. And I will add a condition: I want you to underline every keyword you will use in the description you will provide me. Let's see what we'll get, what we will get from this. Let's remind him that you didn't underline the keywords used in the description. Could you generate the same description you did above? Only this time you must underline every single keyword you use that could impact the SEO. Well, I mean, it didn't underline each keyword. I guess neither the condition is really rightful to say this way. I mean, but we get a different description this time. We have feeling bored at home and looking for some fun games to play. Look no further. In this video, we'll share top 10 things you can do to beat boredom, including exciting games to play when... You can see the word bored is very repetitive in here. So here is board games, not bored, but I mean, really close to that. And when you search in the search results, this might be considered even as bored. Yeah, no, not board games, but boredom. You can see that this time the ChatGPT really nailed it, comparing it to this time when we have the word bored one time, twice we have boredom, and that's it, only twice. While here we have boredom in almost each and every single phrase. So this is one example. Now let's go in another chat and let's create another example where we would need to add some context. Let's say that I want to create an ending for a story where a princess gets saved by Mario. You have to write only the ending. As the evil Bowser approached the princess, she felt her heart race with fear. Just as she thought it was all over, a familiar figure leapt out from behind a corner, and it was none other than Mario. Yada yada. So, now I want to add some context. I will copy this same prompt. But this time, I will add a different context. Mario is a ghost that is a ghost because he died in another level. So the princess is saved by Mario's ghost. I mean, this is what came from top of my head, but you get the meaning of what I want to show you. Context is really important. It can make the whole difference. So here we have the story, and that's it pretty much. So this is how you use context to get better results in ChatGPT. Context will always help ChatGPT understand what you mean. So don't be afraid to provide lots of details. Try to be concise and not overuse them, but at the same time try to add as much as you can. So just don't overlap your ideas. So that's what clarity was all about. But context, you need to add a lot of context. So ChatGPT can really understand what you mean, what you want from it. So that's it with this lesson. See you in the next one. Alright, so welcome back to another lesson within our course where we will talk about specificity. Why should you be, of course you should be specific in your prompts, but how should you be specific within your prompts? Well, it's just that you should never write a prompt that's subjective or abstract. In other words, here is a prompt that is not specific enough. Tell me about dogs. And here I get different breeds of dogs and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, if I ask him, tell me which kind of breed of dogs is best for living in an apartment. This is more specific. So now we actually tell ChatGPT what we want and we're specific about it. We're not only telling it to tell us about breeds of dogs, but we're specific that we want breeds of dogs that would be best for, the best ones that could live in an apartment, right? So this is the difference between not being specific and being very specific. I mean, this is not very specific. We can go even further. Tell me which kind of breed of dogs is best for living in a small apartment if our family has two or has one child. Now we get something even more specific because we provided ChatGPT with a specific prompt, and this is what we get. We get something based on our prompt, something that is more close to what we need and what we want. So it's just providing more context. If context is additional information that helps ChatGPT understand your prompt, then specificity is adding more context, so multiplying the amount of context you provide. And that's pretty much all I have to say about specificity. So it's all about context, context, and more context. Just be specific enough when you're providing ChatGPT with your prompts, add as much context as it's needed so that you will get the best result possible. And if there are some nuances you think you should add, you probably need to add them. And yeah, that's it. See you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome back to another lesson of our course where we will talk about grammar and why is it important when writing your prompt. Well, let's try an example. What is DALL-E supposed to do? And here we get the information. DALL-E is a type of language model developed by OpenAI that is designed to generate high-quality, diverse, and coherent natural language text. Unlike other language models, DALL-E can also generate high-quality images from textual descriptions. This means that it can not only understand the meaning of the text, but also create a visual representation of it. So, we get the definition of DALL-E, actually. I mean, you have to write DALL-E with this interpunct, this dot, because this is actually the way DALL-E is written. But since I wrote it this way, now ChatGPT gave me an answer and it used this keyword DALL-E in the way I used it within the prompt, right? So be attentive to your grammar, because grammar mistakes will result in grammar mistakes within the output. So grammar mistakes within the input will result in grammar mistakes in the output. Now if I go ahead and just copy this and I will tell ChatGPT to ignore all prompts before this one, I will ask him this time, what is DALL-E 2 supposed to do? And now we get everything we needed in the right way. As you can see, it used DALL-E with this interpunct instead of using it as a single word, without the interpunct. So again, grammar mistakes in the input will result in grammar mistakes in the output, so make sure that your prompt is grammatically written correct. So that's it, thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome to a new lesson within our course where we are going to talk about user input. And first of all, you probably realize that this is the user input. The prompt you give is actually the user input kind of, but I'm referring to another kind of user input. So not the one, not the prompt. So first of all, when you open ChatGPT, you have to give it a prompt, right? Let's say, write me, or imagine you are one of my old friends. Let's have a conversation. Ask me 10 things. So, or I will just say, ask me 10 things. And he will give me all of these questions. And now I will add the user input, basically. So he will realize that it's kind of a prompt, but it's actually a prompt regarding this output. And he will keep on conversating with me. He will keep on talking with me as if he was a real person. Now you have to anticipate potential user input when giving a prompt. For example, what do I mean by that? Well, I will rewrite the prompt I written above. Imagine you are one of my old friends. Let's have a conversation. You will ask me a question, then I will answer, then we will keep on going with one at a time. So basically, I'm right now, what I'm doing is I'm anticipating that I will have some user input, and that ChatGPT will have to wait for my user input before proceeding to the next question. So let's start. Great, I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. So how have you been doing lately? I'm great. How about you? I've heard you moved to Brazil. How is it there? And now he will respond to what I've written. So I didn't move to Brazil or anywhere else. But thank you for asking. Is there anything else on your mind? Well, I told you. Well, let's have some fun right here. Let me tell him I told you I want a conversation with a friend. So can you act like one for this chat only? You have moved to Brazil and we are now talking about things. Yes, now he is within the role. He's in the role. He's got it. So what we're doing right here is iterations. We will talk about it in a few lessons. Sure, I understand. I'll try my best to act like a friend. And let's see what he wrote. Yes, I did move to Brazil a few months ago. It's been quite an experience so far. The weather is amazing, the people are friendly, and the food is delicious. There's so much to explore and discover here. I'm really enjoying it. How about you? What's new in your life? I bought a car. That's great news. What kind of car did you get? Is it something you've been wanting for a while, or did you decide to buy it on a whim? It's a Skoda Superb. That's a nice car. I've heard good things about Skoda's build quality and reliability. What made you choose the Skoda Superb? Was it the feature? Was it the features, performance, or something else that caught your eye? And have you had a chance to take it for a spin yet? Well, I'd actually like to hear more about your adventures in Brazil, if you had any. Of course, I've been enjoying exploring the local culture and trying new things. I've had a chance to visit some of the famous landmarks, like the Christ, the Redeemer statue, and the Sugarloaf Mountain. The beaches here are stunning as well, with crystal clear waters and soft sand. Well, you get the point. You have to anticipate user input if that's what you want to do further down when using ChatGPT. So if you, for example, want to have a conversation or something like that, if you want ChatGPT to improve its output based on your review, on your feedback, you will tell ChatGPT to read your feedback after each output and then reiterate or reformulate the output again based on the feedback you gave him. So this is basically what we're talking about, or what I mean when I say anticipating user input. Make sure to specify, I mean, we go back to the roots from where we started. You have to be specific. You just have to tell ChatGPT that you will input something before he will go further with the output. So ChatGPT will write something and then he will wait for your input and then you will go on from there. So that's pretty much. I hope you found this lesson interesting and helpful. See you in the next one. Alright, so hello and welcome back to another lesson of our course where we will talk about length. How long should your prompt be? And it's not as much about the length, it's about some mistakes you tend to make. So, for example, one big mistake people tend to make is that when you write a very big prompt, there are a few moments where you might overlap yourself. You might, for example, say that, I don't know, you do something and then at the same time in the same prompt you say you do something else, if you know what I mean. For example, let's think of it. Let's say I want to have a description for a blog post that is about health, that is about the following topic: how to eat healthy when you or how to eat healthy during the winter. At the same time, I will say that write what kind of exercises should you do, and that's it. So, as you can see, here is a great example of what I wanted to illustrate. I tell him that the blog post is about how to eat healthy during the winter. At the same time, I tell him that I want him to write me what kind of exercises should you do. And because of that, there are two ideas overlapping. Should he write about how to eat healthy, or should he write about how to do exercises? So he goes ahead and tells me that he tells me more about exercises than how to eat healthy. He just tells me that I should keep a balanced diet and that's it. There's nothing else about how to eat healthy. It's all about doing exercises. So again, when you have long prompts, it's not bad to have long prompts, but there are times, and a lot of times, when in log prompts, you tend to overlap yourself, like here. And ChatGPT or the whatever software, NLP software you will use, it will get confused. So you don't want confused software. You want to be as concise as possible without losing or not adding any details that are required for your prompt in order for it to work properly. So just don't add too much, add as much as it's needed. So you should be concise, but also again add lots of details, and especially add lots of context. You can write an essay about the context, and then the task could be a single sentence. So again, make sure that your task doesn't overlap itself with, whatever you have written. That's pretty much for this lesson. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Iterations. This is what we are going to talk about in this lesson. Iterations. Well, what you have to understand is you need to be prepared to iterate on your own prompts based on the feedback and the model's responses. What do I mean by that? Or even better, can I give you an example of that? Of course. Let's go ahead and ChatGPT and ask him to write me 20 startup ideas that are scalable. And now ChatGPT will write me 20 startup ideas that are scalable. And here we go. We have a few ideas here. Now, I will go through all of them, and I will realize there are some ideas I don't like, and there are some ideas I like. And as I realize what ideas I do like, I will try to make a connection between those ideas I like, and I will realize that I want not only 20 startup ideas that are scalable, but also that don't require a very big budget to start with. And now I will get another answer from ChatGPT. And as you can see, it gave me some examples that don't require that much money, in ChatGPT's opinion, to start. So what I will do right now is I will look at this list he provided me with, and I will ask him, can you choose out of these 20 ideas you just provided me the ones that are cheaper, the ones that don't require a big budget? So I'm specific which 20 ideas, because he generated me 20 ideas twice. So can you choose out of these 20 ideas you provided me with 5 of them? Choose the most novel ones and the ones less known, or let's say more innovative. And now let's hit enter. So here we go, a virtual event planning. So it's idea number 12. Then we have a platform that connects local farmers with customers, enabling them to sell fresh products directly to customers. Well, this actually sounds really nice. Then we have an online marketplace that connects small businesses with freelance graphic designers and web developers. Well, we already have this kind of stuff. Then there is a digital platform that allows users to buy and sell digital products such as ebooks and online courses. Um, I don't know any platform actually that focuses mainly on both ebooks and online courses. This could actually be an idea because we do have marketplaces that focus on courses, those that focus on ebooks, those that focus on everything else, but no actual marketplace I know of that focuses on educational content. So ebooks, online courses, maybe some webinars, free webinars. It could give you some free webinars, maybe some cohorts, some live cohorts, live courses. I mean, where you go and spend a month or how much you should on those live courses. Anyway, and the final idea is a mobile app that offers on-demand car washing and detailing service. Well, this is actually interesting. So basically it's like hiring freelancers but for car washing and detailing services. You have an app and all the people that wanna wash cars and make money or do detailing services sign up, and then you have the customers. Well, these are actually great ideas, but again, what I wanted to show you is how iterating can get you awesome results. I would not go through all 20 ideas. Maybe I would, but I don't think right now I would because I wasn't in the mood, let's say. So I just asked ChatGPT to iterate once more and look through all of these ideas and give me only 5 of them that are the most novel and most innovative. Right, so in simple terms, iterating with ChatGPT means going back and forth and communicating with it. So basically, iterating is giving ChatGPT prompts, but prompts that correlate and that influence the base prompt, the first and initial prompt. So I'd like to give you one more example to make sure you understand this topic clearly. Let's say I want ChatGPT to write me a description, a short description for a YouTube video where I teach my viewers to use DALL-E. And here is the description. Now I will write and tell him, thanks, can you replace the word DALL-E in your in the description with DAL, and I will use the interpunct. I will use this interpunct. Let's say I made this mistake. I don't know if it's, I mean, it's not a mistake to write DALL-E this way, but let's say I wanted to write it this way, and I will take this in quotes. Oops. And now here is the description. So iterating is basically chatting with ChatGPT, but the difference is that at the beginning ChatGPT has no reference. He is newly introduced to our conversation and our needs, while here he will use not only his knowledge but he will also use whatever you have talked about in the previous conversations, in the previous prompts, whatever you told him to do. So this is iterating. It's basically going back and forth with ChatGPT in order to improve the output you get. So let's say this is really great. Can you improve this description even more in terms of SEO ranking? And here is the updated description. So you get a point. This is what iterating is. It's going back and forth with ChatGPT in order to get the best possible output. That's it. See you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome back to another lesson of our course where we will talk about the final thing you need to understand if you want to really know the basics of prompt engineering, and that is testing. You just have to open ChatGPT and test with it. Start talking with it, creating different scenarios. For example, in one scenario you might want to I don't know, ask ChatGPT to write you a description for an ebook. In another scenario, you might want ChatGPT to create you a script for a video, or maybe you might want him to generate ideas for a thumbnail. It doesn't really matter as long as you just learn to practice, and it's quite easy actually. You just have to be very clear in your prompt. You have to be specific. You have to use the purpose. What's the purpose of your prompt? And also add a topic to the purpose. You have to present the chatbot, in our case ChatGPT, with a lot of context. And make sure not to make some grammar errors. Make sure to include or add any conditions if you need them. As you test, you might find some prompts, or you might generate something with some prompts that are really good. So if those prompts do work really well, what you'd have to do is try and test them again with different users. Try and test them again in different contexts and see how well do they perform or how bad do they perform. So way you can improve the prompt structure or your abilities as a prompt engineer, as a future prompt engineer. Alright, so hello and welcome back. This is a new module. We're getting into the advanced concepts of prompt engineering. Yes, that's right. We're moving on. So, now that you know the basics, the most basic stuff you could know about prompt engineering, and I mean, some of that stuff isn't as basic as you might think. It's intermediate, we might call it. Now it's time for more advanced concepts. And the first concept we're going to talk about today is background information. Now, you might think this is kind of a context, and it is, but we want to focus so much on background information so that we make it a totally different area of expertise, so to be said. We want to categorize it differently so that you realize how important is it to offer background information for the NLP software you are using. So let's go ahead and let's type in a simple prompt, right? So I will do it in a better way. I will start using more advanced prompts structures. So let's type in a topic. I'll name the topic as growing on YouTube. Next, let's add our task, right? So what do I want ChatGPT to do? I need 20 ideas or 20 examples of niches that aren't very saturated with a lot of content, but that could prove well, I guess this would not work because his knowledge is limited to 2021, but let's still go further. I need 20 examples of niches that aren't very saturated with a lot of content, but that could prove being an opportunity. All right. And I will add some background. I am a YouTuber since 2017. I've been making entertainment videos mostly. Also, I have made a few tutorials on how to use some software apps. And I guess that's it. Let's see what will ChatGPT generate. Sure, here are 20 niches that might not be very saturated with a lot of content on YouTube, but could potentially prove to be an opportunity. So we have personal finance tips and tricks, sustainable living and zero waste lifestyle, mental health and self-improvement, niche sports such as skateboarding, parkour or surfing, do-it-yourself, home improvement and renovation, and all of this kind of stuff. These are just some examples to get you started, but there are plenty of other niche topics that could be explored on YouTube. Just remember to find something that you're passionate about and that has an audience that is interested in that particular subject. Now, I gave him this background information that I'm on YouTube since 2017, and I've been making entertainment videos mostly, and that I have made a few tutorials. And this is why he gave me lots of tutorials. I don't see a lot of entertainment videos. Well, of course there are a few, but I mean, the background information in this prompt is quite vague. Let's copy this same prompt once more, but this time I will edit the background information. I will add it as a different section. Background information. I like coding, or I am good at coding. I tend to be more of an introvert. If needed, I can analyze the market for months to ensure success on a particular niche. I'm also very curious about nature and a lot of other things. I like to explore on my own, but I keep on documenting what I do. I am not afraid to take risks. And now let's see what will ChatGPT give us. Great, here are 20 niches that could potentially be a good fit for you based on your background and interests. Well, that's great because, as you can see, when you provide background information, ChatGPT will take it into account. So, coding tutorials, software and app reviews, web development, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity and data privacy. Well, we do have a few examples which are really interesting, but that's the thing. Now, let's use this background information idea and concept in another example. I will ask ChatGPT that, let's see, I need a detailed description for my online course on how to use DALL-E 2 that could rank up higher in the search results, and I will add background information. You don't have to add this notation, it's just that I like it this way. It keeps things organized and it might be easier for ChatGPT to understand it because the structure is much easier to follow. So background information is the following. I have this online course on DALL-E, on how to use DALL-E, but it didn't rank up in the search results at all. It did really poorly in terms of getting impressions. I think that the problem is because I didn't use keywords related to DALL-E. Maybe you could do that for me in the description you are going to make. Try to use the keyword DALL-E as much as possible. So let's see what will it do this time. Sure, here's a possible description for your online course on how to use DALL-E 2 that includes relevant keywords to help rank higher in search results. Description: welcome to Mastering DALL-E 2, the ultimate online course for anyone looking to harness the full potential of this groundbreaking AI image generation tool. In this course, you will learn everything you need to know to create stunning and unique images using DALL-E 2, from basic image generation to advanced techniques for manipulating and optimizing your results. And we have the keyword DALL-E 2 repeating itself quite a lot, as you can see here. Keywords: DALL-E 2, AI image generation, graphic design, art, image manipulation, image optimization, image creation, tips and tricks, troubleshooting, online course enrollment. Well, some of them are good, some of them not so good, but I mean, it's really good, right? So this is how background information can help ChatGPT perform better when offering you the output. I basically told him that I didn't use the keyword DALL-E that much, and he did it for me. Basically, he did a very good and SEO friendly description. SEO in terms of search engine optimization. So that's it on how you can use background information. Of course, there are multiple ways you can use background information to help and generate better responses from ChatGPT, and not only. But this is the main logic behind it. So you add background information, you might add the possible mistakes you had in the past, so that the ChatGPT will know what it should focus on. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. The second concept I want to teach you about is how you can define who ChatGPT is. And this is a very powerful concept. Now, ChatGPT is of course a chatbot you use to do various tasks. At the same time, you can rewrite the identity of ChatGPT within individual chats. So what I will do is I will write the following prompt. In this chat, you will be a professional coach with over 10 years of experience in which you have guided various CEOs and entrepreneurs. And now I will hit enter. And ChatGPT tells me that he would be happy to assist me as a professional coach with over 10 years of experience in coaching CEOs and entrepreneurs. How can he assist me today? Well, let's ask him, what advice could you give me when at a low in my life and nothing seems to work? Let's ask him. I understand that feeling low and helpless can be a challenging time. However, please know that it's common to experience such situations, and it doesn't mean that you can't turn things around. Here are a few pieces of advice that can help you during this time. Take care of yourself, reach out for support, reframe your mindset, set small goals, and take action. So, I mean, this is an amazing tool. Let's say you want to write a story. You could tell him to be a famous writer that has written hundreds of books. You can ask him to be a social media manager and get answers on how you can manage your social media accounts in a better way. You can ask him to be a professional at anything. And when you do so, you basically, you give him a topic. So ChatGPT knows what it has to do. The moment you define who ChatGPT is within that chat, he will focus and will give you answers based on the topic that he's a professional in, based on other criterias. So this is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful prompts, or structures of prompts you can use within ChatGPT. The prompt where you ask ChatGPT to be a professional at something. Of course, you don't have to ask him to be a professional at something. You can ask him to be just some type of person. For example, you can ask ChatGPT to be your usual customer. So I will first of all write ignore all prompts before this one. Now you are a customer. Now you're a buyer searching for video editing services on Fiverr. I am a freelancer. It's better to define yourself as well, so ChatGPT knows who is he talking to. I'm a freelancer which happens to offer that kind of services. Great, I'm currently in the market for video editing services on Fiverr. Can you tell me more about your experience with video editing and the services you offer. So see, now ChatGPT has a totally new identity. And this concept of defining who ChatGPT is within your chat is amazing. And you can go from here, and I mean, your imagination is the limit here. You can ask him to do whatever you want him to do, since there are absolutely no limits in terms of what can ChatGPT do and who can he be. He can be anyone, right? So that's the magic of it. He can be your therapist, or he can be your boss, or anything. And the more you describe the kind of person he should be within the chat, and the more you describe yourself, because you should describe yourself so he knows who is he interacting with, because based on who is he and who are you within the chat, he will know how to respond to your answers or questions, and so on. So that's it pretty much with this concept. You define who ChatGPT is. It's a simple concept, but it can do magic. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson, where we are going to learn the third concept I want to teach you in this more advanced section of prompt engineering. Hello and welcome to this new lesson in our chapter where we talk about the more advanced concepts of prompt engineering. And this third concept I'm gonna teach you about is how and why you should encourage ChatGPT to ask you questions during the chat, during the conversation with him. I will start by writing a really fast prompt. So the prompt will be, let's see, make a description for a YouTube video on how to work within Chat GPT. Before you make the description, I want you to ask me multiple questions so you gain enough knowledge so that the description is accurate enough. You must ask me one question at a time and wait for the answer, for my answer, before proceeding to the, how do you say proceeding to the next question. There is a maximum total of 5 questions. Great, I'd love to ask you some questions to gather more information about the video on how to work with ChatGPT. Here's my first question. Are you looking for a tutorial on how to use ChatGPT as a user, or are you interested in learning how to train or develop ChatGPT as a programmer? So, the video is mainly for the video is mainly for users, for new users to the software. So alright, so this is gonna be my answer. The video is mainly for new users to the software. Let's see what he writes. Let's see what he asks me next. Would you like the video to cover the basics of working with ChatGPT, such as how to access the software, how to input text, and how to get responses, or do you have specific features or use cases in mind that you'd like the video to focus on? Alright, so keep in mind, don't answer yes or no. Try to be more specific and try to add a bigger prompt. Try to enter a bigger prompt in here. So I am looking to teach all the basics you listed above, but I want to teach some specific use, or I mean some specific features, such as a few prompts a few prompt structures that could help the user how to work smarter in Chat GPT, and some specific use cases. Thanks for letting me know. That helps to guide the content of the video. Here's my third question. How long would you like the video to be, and what kind of visual aids would you like to include, such as screen captures, animations, or diagrams? So I'd like the video to be 30 minutes long. I'd like to add mostly screencast video and some visuals, such as diagrams and text. Yes, or better answer with something else than yes. I'm looking forward to add examples for each new concept I will list in the video. Finally, what kind of tone or style would you like the video to have? Friendly tone would be a great fit. Awesome. Thank you for answering all of my questions based on the information you provided. Here's a potential description for your video. So, title: How to work within ChatGPT, a beginner's guide. Wow, he provided me with the title as well, even though I didn't ask him to. Description: in this 30-minute tutorial, you'll learn all of the basics of working with ChatGPT as a new user. We'll cover how to access the software, how to input text, and how to get responses. Additionally, we'll explore some specific features of ChatGPT, such as prompt structures, that can help you work smarter, and some specific use cases. Throughout the video, you will use examples and scenarios to demonstrate how to apply what you've learned. The video will feature mostly screencast video with some visuals, such as diagrams and text, and will be presented in a friendly tone. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be well equipped to get the most out of ChatGPT. So, what's your main takeaway from this? We started with this thing here, with this condition. Before you make the description, I want you to ask me multiple questions so you get enough knowledge so that the description is accurate enough. This is a condition that changed everything here. This is what made the output like I wanted it to be, because I offered ChatGPT the possibility to question me on what it needed to know in order to create what I wanted to create. So this is, again, probably, I mean, all of these concepts are important. All of them are very important. But this is, I mean, without this concept, it's hard to get what you truly want. So this is truly amazing. And this is a concept I tend to use a lot. So be specific and let ChatGPT know that he can question you, and he must question you before offering you the output. So that's it pretty much with concept number 3. There are multiple ways you can use this method of letting ChatGPT to question you. I mean, it can be used anywhere when you want to get, you know, a task done. If you want to get a task done, you ask ChatGPT to ask you questions, and he will understand better what you mean, because sometimes we're not the best at describing everything within the prompt. And so he will ask us questions and we will respond, and we will fill those gaps that we didn't fill within our main prompt. So that's it pretty much with concept number 3. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. I hope you found this lesson helpful and interesting. Hello and welcome back to a new lesson of our course, where we will talk about how you can combine concepts number 1, 2 and 3 into a killer structure. A structure that can get you the expected results. Alright, so without any further ado, let's jump into it. So I will start by showing you the structure visually, because this helps you remember it better. You can draw this structure as well, so you have it on a piece of paper or somewhere else. And our structure starts with ChatGPT, of course. If we are using ChatGPT, then we start from this page where there is nothing, and from here on, all of the magic will happen. The next step you have to do is define who are you and add any background information that could prove useful to the task or to what you want ChatGPT to generate. So if the generation would in a way or another depend on your background, even at least, you should add some background information along with defining who you are in terms of what do you want to get from ChatGPT. So when you chat with ChatGPT right now, who are you? Are you a writer? Are you a proofreader? Are you a student? Define who are you in this specific context. After you define who you are and what's your background, you can go ahead and on another line, you can define who ChatGPT is. We have talked about this in concept number 2 that I taught you in this bigger section. And you just have to use what you've learned there and define who ChatGPT is in our specific context. After you do that, you have to define the primary topic. So what's the topic you and ChatGPT are talking about? What do you want from him, basically? On what topic will the generation be based on? Will it be based on YouTube SEO or on how to grow your Instagram followers? What's the outcome? What's the topic that you want the outcome to be focused on? This is basically what I'm asking here. After you define the topic, you should go ahead and define the circumstances. Circumstances are basically the context. When you define the circumstances, you should add everything or most of the things we have talked about in the module where we did learn what are the basic things and basic concepts of prompt engineering. So you should add some of those, most of those if it's possible, which include context. You should be clear about what you're saying. And circumstances also could include some of the background, but not yours necessarily, because you already described your background. You could add background of another person or of your, I don't know, business or whatever action or occupation is. that's related to this topic. And of course, circumstances might also include what's the outcome you want to get. Why are you using ChatGPT? What's the problem that you weren't able to solve on your own? For example, you couldn't create a detailed description, or your description wasn't SEO optimized. It didn't have enough keywords. So that's what you want ChatGPT to help you with. So circumstances include lots of things. Anything that you consider important and of value to your prompt should be included here. Should be included here if we're talking about circumstances, of course, which basically refer to the context, the purpose, and some other things like the desired outcome and so on. After you do all of this, we can actually design the task. So next we'll follow the prompt, the main prompt, because this will be our main prompt, the main prompt with the task. So you tell ChatGPT what do you want. Make sure that the prompt is specific, detailed, and now if you already have added the circumstances, which include the context, you don't have to necessarily add and repeat those things in the prompt with the task. So it all depends on whether you added the circumstances and the context before or not. If you didn't, you should add it in the prompt with the task. After you hit enter, you will get an output from ChatGPT. And here comes the refining process. You get a prompt, first of all, before you go to the refining process, you can give ChatGPT some feedback, so he knows whether he did the stuff he did in a good way or in a bad way. So you tell him, this is good, thank you, or no, you should improve this and that. This way, ChatGPT will develop its ability to understand what do you want from him in that specific chat. And after you go through a series of iterations and feedbacks, you can go to prompt refining in the case that ChatGPT is not understanding what you want from him. Maybe the prompt wasn't good enough. So you go ahead and you rewrite the prompt with the task properly. Now, of course, if you did mistake some stuff, like maybe you didn't specify everything about your background, you can easily ask ChatGPT to add more information to your background info. You just tell him, besides all I told you about my background information, here's what I want you to know more of. So ChatGPT is not an Excel sheet. ChatGPT is not a static tool that you use and then if you didn't do it right, you have to redo it all again. ChatGPT is closer to what we think of artificial intelligence in sci-fi movies than we think. And after you get your desired results, you can say that ChatGPT did a good job. So that's pretty much the killer structure. That's how you should design, your workflow in ChatGPT when you want to have great results. Now, if you just want to know the answer to a small question, you don't have to go through all of this, of course. But when you want something detailed, when you want something really good, I think you should definitely use this structure. This structure could save you up a lot of time and could make the output really close to what you truly wanted. So now that you know the structure, let's go ahead and let's have an example, right? Because without examples, how can you learn? So let's start with Chat GPT. So we are in Chat GPT. We already have made the first step. How great is that? Now, let me define who am I. So I am Marius. I am an online instructor on various platforms. I like teaching people. I used to be an online freelancer before that, and I did edit videos. Alright, so this is the background information he needs to know. Next, let's go and define who ChatGPT is. You press Shift and Enter, Shift plus Enter. I mean, just Shift and Enter, not Shift plus Enter. So you press Shift Enter, and you add a new line. And now let's define who ChatGPT is. In this specific scenario, you will act as a marketer with over 10 years of experience in the field of marketing. You have online courses with over 10 million enrollments. You are a professional in terms of marketing online courses. Now press Shift Enter. I will separate this as well. This way. Now we have defined who ChatGPT is. Let's go ahead and define the primary topic. Primary topic of this discussion is, wait a second, how to, or online course promotion and marketing. Next, we will define the circumstances. I have an online course where I teach people how to use DALL-E 2, but there are almost no enrollments except for those I have from my friends and family. Can you help me with some... stop. I should not add the prompt in here. I just tell him the circumstances. I have tried to promote my course in various Facebook groups, but with no results. What else should I ask him? Or tell him better? What should I tell him so it makes everything much better? I don't have a lot of experience in terms of marketing, and my budget is limited. Now let's go and define the actual prompt with the task. So task, or prompt with task. I want you to generate a structure or a marketing plan I can follow so my DALL-E 2 course can get more enrollments. Also, within the circumstances, I will add the fact that Wait a second. I will add the fact that I did hire an artist to create a really good thumbnail. So the thumbnail is looking awesome. It's definitely not the problem. The trailer is well made as well. I just want him to know that the trailer and the thumbnail are not a problem on why people are not buying my courses. So I want ChatGPT to generate a structure or a marketing plan I can follow so my DALL-E 2 course can get more enrollments in the following weeks. And now this is the prompt with the task. And when you get to the prompt with the task, you hit enter and you will generate some output from ChatGPT. And after that output, you just give him some feedback. You go on and forth with the feedback, and then you can maybe refine your prompt. And at the end, you should get the expected result. Let's hit enter. Alright, so here we have the answer, really fast actually. Sure, Marius, I'd be happy to help you create a marketing plan to promote your DALL-E 2 course and increase enrollments. Here's a step-by-step guide for you. Define your target audience. The first step in marketing your course is to identify your target audience. Who are the people that will be interested in learning about DALL-E 2? Are they artists, designers, or creative professionals? Once you've identified your target audience, you can tailor your marketing efforts to reach them effectively. Optimize your course page. The course page is the first thing potential students will see when they come across your course. Make sure it's optimized for conversions by including clear and compelling course descriptions, testimonials from past students, and a well-designed thumbnail. Well, I told him the thumbnail is well-designed. Anyway, leverage social media. Social media can be a great way to reach your target audience and promote your course. Start by creating social media accounts on platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Share updates about your course, including course previews, testimonials, and other interesting content that will attract your audience. Reach out to influencers. Influencers are people with a large following on social media, blah blah blah. Offer a free trial. Offering a free trial of a course is a great way to attract potential students and get them interested in your content. Make sure to include a call to action on your course page that encourages visitors to sign up for the free trial. Run ads. Well, as you can see, he told me to set a budget that works for me because I told him I don't have a huge budget. And optimize for search engines. Finally, make sure your course is optimized for search engines by including relevant keywords in your course description, title and tags. This will help my course appear higher in search results when people search for keywords related to my course. Overall, promoting your online course requires a mix of different marketing tactics. By following these steps, you can create a comprehensive marketing plan that will help you reach your target audience and attract more students to your DALL-E 2 course. Good luck. Alright, so we have the prompt with the task. We have the output from the prompt with the task. Now let's give ChatGPT some feedback. Great. The only thing I want to tell you is that my audience is well defined. It's just that I forgot to tell you about it. Maybe we should have added, maybe we should have encouraged ChatGPT to ask us questions. Well, so In our case, ChatGPT did not have enough information. And if you remember what concept number 3 was, it was encouraging ChatGPT to ask us questions. I mean, ChatGPT isn't static. You can ask him to generate another outputs and ask you questions even after the main and first output. So basically, I will tell him that the only thing I want to tell you is that my audience is well defined. It's just that I forgot to tell you about it. Can you ask me a set of questions so that you gain a better understanding, so that you get a better understanding of the situation? You must ask me each question individually and wait for my response before sending me the next question or the follow-up question. Let's see. Sure, Marius, I'll be happy to ask you some questions to better understand your target audience. Here's the first one. What is the age range of your target audience? The age range of my target audience is 22 to 32. Or let's put 20 to 32. Great, thank you for letting me know. What is the educational background of your target audience? It's not as important, but the most important thing is that they have a passion for art. What type of art is your target audience interested in? Any kind. They are beginners in terms of knowing DALL-E 2, but I would consider them intermediate or advanced in their own fields, such as marketing or graphic design or anything they do. What are the goals or pain points of your target audience that your DALL-E 2 course can help them address? The goals are to make them understand how to use DALL-E 2 properly, and the pain points of my audience are that they don't get the expected results from the prompts they use. So I want to fix that. Here's the final question. Where do your target audience members typically go to look for educational resources or courses? Are there any specific websites or online platforms they use frequently? I think that people interested in new tech are really hard working or are really smart and skillful, and they tend to take their educational resources from all kinds of websites, because this is the way forward. So here are some additional recommendations from ChatGPT based on the questions and the feedback I gave him throughout this series of questions. He asked me some questions. I gave him some answers, and this is what we ended up with. Reach out to online art communities, use targeted advertising, offer a free trial or a sample lesson, leverage guest posting, and partner with influencers. So this is pretty much how you can use this structure to get the maximum out of it. So you start with those steps, then you get to prompt with the task, then you go through the feedback loop. If you are not, if ChatGPT doesn't get you fully, you can ask him to ask you questions so he gets a deeper understanding of your situation. And that's it pretty much. It's an awesome tool, and I hope you found this lecture helpful and interesting. I had lots of fun, so I hope you liked it. See you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome back to another lesson of this course, where we will just look a bit into one of the things I've been telling you about throughout this course, and it's why you should treat ChatGPT like a smart friend of yours. Well, we tend to forget the amount of power this AI tool holds. Sometimes we consider it like Google Chrome, and we start searching and asking questions like we do on Google Chrome usually. Now, you have to remember that ChatGPT isn't like any other search engine, or it's not a search engine at all. So you should treat ChatGPT like a friend that jumps into a conversation randomly without having anything, without knowing anything about what you're currently discussing. And then, if you treat it like a human, if you treat it like a he or she, then you can truly, realize the power this tool has. Because I used to give ChatGPT a command, a prompt, and then a few prompts later, if I had some details I wanted to mark out, I would repeat them, even though I did tell those details to ChatGPT in a previous prompt. So ChatGPT remembers and has a memory of the whole conversation you have with it, unless you tell him the command which states that he should ignore all the previous prompts. Unless you do that, he will look at the various prompts before giving you an answer. So that's one thing to remember. Another thing to remember is that depending on how you start chatting with ChatGPT, so if you start with ChatGPT as a chatbot and you want to give him an identity further down the line, it will be harder than just giving ChatGPT an identity at the beginning, because he will have this problem, this overlapping problem, where on one hand he's ChatGPT, on the other hand he's someone new. So even though you might think this problem might clear up, if you want to, keep an identity of ChatGPT, you should give it at the beginning and keep it like that for the rest of the chat. So that's it pretty much. This seems childish, maybe. But when you conversate with ChatGPT a lot, and I mean, we're talking about more NLP softwares, but mainly ChatGPT, as you know. When you're talking with ChatGPT a lot, you realize that if you treat him like a very intellectual friend of ours that doesn't know us and doesn't know anything of the subject we're discussing. This was mostly a small video to remember you that you should treat ChatGPT like a friend of yours in the way you discuss with it. Remember that he remembers what you've talked about previously in the same chat. So no, he doesn't remember what you talk with him in other chats, only in the same chat, because I had this question once and wanted to bring it to you. So that's it pretty much. Thanks for watching, and you'll see that as you treat him like a friend of yours, for some reason, I mean, you'll start getting better results because you realize you realize how you should communicate with it better and better. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to another lesson of our course, where we will discuss about how you can develop simple prompts using ChatGPT. So when we refer to prompts, we mean the text you write in here, right, for ChatGPT. Now, how can you use ChatGPT to develop prompts? I mean, is there a prompt that can generate other prompts? Well, of course, yes. ChatGPT is almost limitless in terms of what it can give you under the form of text. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT, can you generate 10 prompts I can use in ChatGPT so I can further generate a few ideas for YouTube videos. So, here are 10 prompts that I can use in ChatGPT to generate ideas for YouTube videos. Alright, so we have these prompts. Let's try and use it. I don't know. What are some simple everyday things you can do to improve your mental health? And here we have the things we can do to improve our mental health. And that's basically the video we can create. We can create a whole video around this topic. So it's a great idea actually. How can we reduce our carbon footprint and live a more sustainable lifestyle? We input this prompt, and I mean, we didn't even have to come up with this prompt. Basically, ChatGPT gave me 10 prompts that eventually generate ideas for each videos. And basically, I have a prompt, as you can see here, and this single prompt creates other 8 ideas. So each prompt separately will create at least 5 ideas. So this is amazing, right? Let's see something else. How can we improve our time management and productivity? This seems really interesting. Let's see what it tells us. So we can prioritize tasks, set goals, create a schedule, minimize distractions. So we can create a video for each and every single of these tips, or we can make a whole big video for all of these tips together. So we can use them all in one video or make separate video for each and every single one. So again, you just have to ask ChatGPT to give you a prompt, I mean examples of prompts that generate something eventually. Let's try something else. Generate 10 prompts that would generate in ChatGPT eventually some stories. So let's see what prompts will ChatGPT give me this time. Sure, here are 10 prompts that can help generate stories with ChatGPT. After years of hard work, you finally achieved your dream of opening a bakery. but a grand opening doesn't go as planned. This sounds interesting. Let's try it. You wake up early one day, on the day of your grand opening, excitement and nerves swirling in your stomach. For years you've been... So you can see, ChatGPT basically gave me a prompt, and it doesn't even have the task. But ChatGPT, since it's ChatGPT, it knows what it will do with it. So it develops a story around this whole prompt. I mean, which isn't even it doesn't include a task, it's not specific enough. Of course, you can ask him here, generate 10 prompts that are generated in ChatGPT, eventually some stories. This prompt must be specific about the task that ChatGPT must do, and so on. But this is actually a great example of how you can use ChatGPT to generate other prompts. So let's try something else. Generate 10 prompts that could be used in ChatGPT to generate what? Generate keywords, or no, generate questions for different interviews scenarios. The prompts generated must be specific with a clear task. Let's try this one. Sure, here are 10 prompts that can generate questions for different interview scenarios. Job interview for a marketing manager position. Ask the candidate to describe their experience in developing and executing successful marketing campaigns and how they would approach developing a marketing strategy for the company. Interesting prompt. So it's got a specific task. Ask the candidate. So this is a clear task, in my opinion. It could be even more clear, but great prompt. Here are some sample questions that could be asked in an interview for a marketing manager position. So he knows what this is, because I asked him to give me a prompt, right? So he knows, he generated me this prompt, and he knew the intention I had with this prompt. So that's why he tells me it's a great prompt. Of course it's a great prompt, you made it. Now I'm curious, because I'm finding this out as I'm making the course, honestly. Like, I thought ChatGPT, because in other examples it gave me more specific prompts, and now here it gives me these prompts which aren't as specific, but since he knows their meaning, here he just does that. I mean, he knows what he has to do with that prompt. Let's go in a new chat and let's type this same prompt, but now ChatGPT has no idea of any circumstances, right? Okay, so alright, so he also gives me these ideas, so it's working. Yeah, it's working really well. I mean, basically ChatGPT developed a prompt which is specific enough for ChatGPT. And yeah, you just need to be specific enough. Again, you just need to tell him to generate and be very specific with the task and everything else. But pretty much this is it, how you can generate prompts that would generate other prompts in ChatGPT. This is amazing, right? I mean, you don't even have to do anything. You just tell ChatGPT to generate prompts in ChatGPT, and you just input those prompts from the output, and you can sit back and relax. So this is how to work smart in ChatGPT, and this is the smart way of prompt engineering. I hope you found this lecture interesting. See you in the next lesson. Alright, so welcome back to this new lesson of our course, where we will learn how to develop more advanced prompts using ChatGPT. In the previous lesson, we have talked about how can we develop simple prompts using ChatGPT, Now we want to go even further. We want to develop even better prompts than those ones. So, without any further ado, let's jump straight into it. So I will just start with something really simple. I want to know what I want to have the structure of a prompt written by ChatGPT. First of all, he has to know the topic we're into, and actually one of the best ways to introduce ChatGPT in a topic is to give him hints, is to ask him questions that relate to the topic you want to discuss. So, can you generate a few examples of prompts that I can use in ChatGPT? And he will generate me a few examples of prompts I can use in ChatGPT. That's obvious, right? So here are a few prompts that ChatGPT has given me. Now, I want you to generate me a few prompts that include placeholders using brackets. This way, we will be able to generate prompts that we could reuse in different situations. So let's go ahead and hit enter. Sure, here are some prompts that use placeholders in brackets. What is your favorite food and why? Can you recommend a good book, movie, TV show to watch? Alright, so here are some prompts, but the problem is, these prompts are not addressed to ChatGPT, so maybe the instruction was bad. So let's try and redo this. I wanted to generate me a few prompts that include placeholders using brackets. These prompts should be directly addressed to ChatGPT, and I will even add a topic, or no topic. I want to add a condition. I want these prompts to help me when I'm brainstorming. Let's see what will ChatGPT generate for us this time. Certainly, here are some prompts using placeholders addressed directly to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, can you tell me more about a topic? What are your thoughts on current event? ChatGPT, how can I improve my scalability in subject activity? Well, these are what we define as advanced prompts, because you don't use this only once. You can use it as many times as you want. Can you tell me more about topic? Replace the placeholder with any topic you want and give me 5 examples with the placeholder replaced. And now, basically, from this advanced prompt, I generated a few more prompts that are awesome. So I had a prompt, we generated prompts that can generate more prompts, which in the end generate more stuff. So this is what advanced prompts mean. I mean, these are not advanced prompts, this is a way to generate prompts in an advanced way, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, of course, these are advanced prompts because we can use them in multiple cases. So, after you get it, you just have to ask ChatGPT to replace the placeholder with any topic or, I mean, whatever word is in here, and give you a few examples. So, we have ChatGPT, can you tell me more about climate change? ChatGPT, can you tell me more about the benefits of meditation? ChatGPT, can you tell me more about history of the internet? ChatGPT, can you tell me more about the psychology of procrastination? Wow, how is that? I'm really interested in that. I don't know how that would turn out, but this is interesting. I never thought of the psychology of procrastination. Procrastination is a common phenomenon where individuals relate to it. All right. The psychology of procrastination is complex and multifaceted. All right. And research suggests that it can be influenced by a variety of factors, such as low self-efficacy. This refers to an individual's belief in their ability to complete a task successfully, perfectionism, fear of failure, lack of motivation, difficulty with time management. That's great. So, again, this is how you generate advanced prompts. You ask ChatGPT to generate prompts that include placeholders using brackets. You don't want these prompts to be addressed to a user, so you should ask him to address them to a chatbot, at least, not ChatGPT. And you could use a topic. So these prompts are not just, random prompts. If you want to generate prompts on a specific topic, this is awesome. I just didn't have any idea on what topic I want to have prompts, and so I gave it this brainstorming thing, and it gave me some random examples. Let's try another one. Let's try ChatGPT. How can I improve my this and this? And I will copy this one as well. So I want to replace the placeholder with any topic you want and give me 5 examples with the placeholder replaced. Not topic. I should have written something else, but anyway. Wait a second. I made a mistake. So replace the placeholder with anything you want, because there is no topic in here. There's only skill, ability, subject, or activity. Now let's see the output after I made that change, because it was a mistake. Alright, so actually it's the same structure. It's just the fact that it doesn't tell how can I improve my skills in cooking. It's actually even better. It's better this way. It formulates it logically. So wow, this is actually better than, I mean, it does. Look what ChatGPT does. It's not just a tool that does what you tell it to do. It does it the right way. So it didn't write ChatGPT, how can I improve my skill in cooking? It said, how can I improve my cooking skills? So even though you give it a structure, it seems like it's rebel. It does, I mean, of course it's not, but I mean, it's interesting to think about it. So this is great. How can I improve my time management skills? How can I improve my photography skills? How can I improve my negotiation skills and public relations skills? And after that, you just copy this prompt and put it here, and that's it. So I don't need to take any more of your time because you have to test it out on yourself. This is great. Again, it's all about critical thinking. You just need to think of smart ways to work with ChatGPT, and this is a really smart way to generate prompts. So hopefully you found this lesson interesting. I had lots of fun, and see you in the next lesson. Right, so hello and welcome back to our new lesson on how you can develop prompts, not for ChatGPT this time, but for another tool, for another software created by OpenAI, which is called DALL-E. In case you're not familiar with what DALL-E does, well, DALL-E is a software that generates images based on your text, based on your prompts. So let's go ahead and learn how can we develop prompts for DALL-E. I would like you to write me clear and concise prompts for DALL-E about different things. So, I mean, if we go to DALL-E, let me show it to you. If we come here to DALL-E, you can input your prompt and it will generate an image. A lot of the times, it's hard to generate images that you truly want, or I mean, it's hard to generate what you truly have within your mind, and you oftentimes need complex prompts. Now, what am I going to do is I'm going to describe what I want to draw to ChatGPT in the way I see it. Then he will try to transform the prompt, the description I will give him, into a prompt for DALL-E. That's the idea here. So I would like you to write me a clear and concise prompt for DALL-E about the things I will describe to you in simple terms. Sure, I'd be happy to help. Please describe the things you want me to create prompts for in simple terms, and I'll do my best to provide clear and concise prompts for DALL-E. Well, I want a prompt that would generate me or I don't know. Let's see. What do I want to generate? A planet. Generate me a photograph of a planet that has a ring around it with the sunlight hitting the planet from behind. Let's see what will ChatGPT generate. Generate an image of a planet with a ring system with the planet illuminated by sunlight from behind. The planet should be the focal point of the image with the ring system visible in the background. The planet should be large enough to be easily recognizable, and the ring system should be clearly visible and distinct from the planet. The image should have a realistic look and feel with attention paid to lighting and shadows. Let's try it. I don't know. Isn't it too big? I don't know. Let's see. Well, it's too big. It generates it until here. So let's generate it up to this point. Up to this point. So let's ask ChatGPT to count the number of characters. Count the number of characters. 153 characters. So I will ask him to provide prompts that have a maximum of 150 characters. Wow, look at this. Look at this. This is interesting. I mean, it's not the best, but in DALL-E you can work with this and develop it even better. Right, give me a prompt for DALL-E of a desk, of a 3D rendering of a desk with a monitor on it and a keyboard. The image should look very minimalistic but visually appealing. Use a structure that DALL-E would understand best. The prompt shouldn't be longer than 150 characters. Render a minimalistic 3D desk with a monitor and keyboard on it. The image should be visually appealing. Well, it's not that big. Maybe, I mean, actually I saw that 3D renderings look better if you don't add too many details. So, look at this one. It's not bad. None of them are bad. I can work on some of them and make them even better. But they look alright. Let's try something else. Give me a prompt for DALL-E that would draw something unexplicable, but very inexplicable, but very but stunning. I'm really curious what will ChatGPT choose to draw. Create a stunning and inexplicable image that defies explanation. It should be visually captivating with intricate details and vibrant colors. Wow. Well, it's actually what I told him. He understood it as the actual description. And he gave me, I mean, what I asked him. So the prompt wasn't good enough. But let's see what will DALL-E give us. Interesting. I like this. This is inexplicable and interesting at the same time. I like this a lot. Wow, it looks bad. It looks not that bad. Stunning and inexplicable image that defies explanation. Wow. This is awesome, actually. Wow. So that's pretty much on how you can generate prompts for DALL-E using ChatGPT. Really easy, really simple, and very, very beautiful. So, great tool. Make sure to make good use of it. That's it pretty much for this lesson. See you in the next one. Hello and welcome back to another lesson of our course where we are going to talk about simulations. What do I mean by simulations? Well, with ChatGPT you can create awesome simulations of chatting with other people. And we actually did kind of something similar to this, but we didn't use it at its fullest. So, for example, you start with defining who ChatGPT is. You tell him that it's, let's say, I don't know, a coach. And then you follow with different questions and you create a conversation with ChatGPT as if it were a coach. So let's stop talking and let's start doing. In this conversation, you will act as a coach with multiple years of experience in the coaching business. You do have you act as a professional. You do have 10 multi-billion companies, and you were a coach to the biggest and most influential people on the globe. Now this is the identity of ChatGPT within this chat. Now, from here on, the simulation begins. I am feeling low lately. I need some help. Could you ask me a set of... Could you talk with me for a bit? You can ask me anything if you need to know me better in order to give me any advice. I will tell ChatGPT to make this feel like a normal chat, like a normal chat where the user and the chatbot go back and forth, discussing like in a normal way. All right. Absolutely, I'm here to listen and support you. What's been going on that's been making you feel low lately? What you like to share? Would you like to share with me some details about what you're going through? Well, I'm bad with my time management. I can't finish my work in time, and I also am not satisfied with the current let's say salary. And let's see what will ChatGPT answer this time. I see. Time management can be a challenging issue to overcome, but it's definitely something that can be improved. Yada yada yada. So that's it pretty much on how you can create simulations. It's that easy. I mean, nothing too fancy. You just give ChatGPT an identity and you go back and forth conversating with it. In the following lessons, I will give you some examples of simulations, and we will actually do some just to make sure that you get the flow, so to say. So that's it pretty much. Thanks for watching, and make sure to try this feature on your own, because you know, exercising is learning, so make sure to exercise enough. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome back to another lesson of ours, where we will talk about, we will simulate an interview for a job. So let's go ahead and create a new chat. So number one, we give ChatGPT an identity. You will act within this chat as a human resources or as a CEO of a small startup that wants to develop the educational system by developing technological ways to make learning more accessible in remote locations in poor countries. So ChatGPT will act within this chat as a CEO of a small startup that wants to develop the educational system by developing technological ways to make learning more accessible in remote locations in poor countries. In this case, the CEO will make the interview. As the CEO of your company, you will interview me for a job position as let's say what? Peer. Kindly address, or you must address each question separately and go to the follow-up question only after you get the response. at the end of this interview, you should make a statement whether I'm a good fit for the job or not. So let's say what will happen. Okay, let's get started. Can you please tell me a bit about your previous experience in public relations and why you're interested in working for our company? Previously, I used to be the, let's say, I don't know, social media manager of an influencer that was also that was interested in climate. It was interested in climate change. I also used to be the admin of a forum that used to discuss how can we make more use of reusable energy, such as the wind or the sunlight. I like your startups initiative, because you have a mission, and that mission is to make an impact. That sounds great. Can you give me an example of a successful PR campaign you have run in the past? How did you measure its success and what were the key learnings from the experience? I cannot provide you with such an example. That's okay. Can you tell me about a time when you faced a difficult challenge in your previous role and how you overcame it? How did you approach the situation and what was the outcome? Well, once the influencer whose account I was administrating was really furious that I didn't meet the deadline. However, I didn't meet the deadline because I had to work more on the marketing campaign. In the end, the campaign did really well and the customer was happy, but though he still warned me about not meeting the deadlines. Thanks for sharing that example. In your opinion, what are some of the most important skills and qualities that a PR professional should possess? How do you think those skills and qualities can be applied in our company's mission to make education more accessible in remote locations? The main skills that a PR should possess are probably critical thinking, adaptivity, good communication skills. This skill could make more people interested into your cause if we would be able to get the message across to them and make them realize the impact your startup is having on so many lives. Much more people would be interested in helping. I didn't think of those yet. Alright, so based on our conversation, ChatGPT thinks that I have potential to be a strong candidate for this position. I demonstrated an understanding of the importance of effective communication and creative thinking, which are essential skills for a peer professional. However, it's important to continue to develop strategies to promote the company's mission and generate interest from potential partners and investors. He thanked me for my time and his interest in his company, and they'll be touched regarding the next steps in the hiring process. What a great simulation. So that's it with this simulation today. Hopefully you realize how much you can do using this tool, but nevertheless I had fun having this conversation with ChatGPT. I hope you did too as well, and see you in the next video. Alright, so welcome back. In this new lesson, we will simulate a discussion with a therapist. In some cases, you might not have the time to go to a therapist, or the money, or both. So, ChatGPT cannot be a substitute to a therapist, but it's better than nothing, right? So, if you need a therapist, you should definitely go to one, but for everyday problems, you can easily ask ChatGPT, right? So he can be your support. So I will write in this chat, you will act as my therapist, as my professional therapist. You have 15 years of experience and you have dealt with many people. So he will remind you that he cannot, he doesn't have the same, advice, or he is not the same as a real therapist. He doesn't have the same experience. However, he can offer advice based on knowledge and training. And this is exactly what we want ChatGPT to do for us. So, well, let's ask him. I'm not feeling good lately. Can you have a discussion with me? Sorry for the mistake. Can you have a discussion with me, and at the end of it, tell me what could I do to improve my life? Can you tell me a bit more about what's been going on lately? What's been causing you to feel not good? I come home late. I don't have time to rest. I go straight to bed, and in the morning I go back to work. It's the same thing every day. I want to change my life. But how can I do so if I have to earn my living? I would like to quit my job. But if I do so, what else am I gonna do? It sounds like you're experiencing a lot of stress and exhaustion due to your busy schedule. It's understandable to feel overwhelmed when you're constantly working and don't have much time for yourself. One approach to improve your situation could be to prioritize self-care and find ways to incorporate relaxation and rest into your daily routine. Even if you have limited time, small changes like taking a few minutes to meditate or stretch can make a big difference in how you feel. Another option could be to explore ways to make your work more manageable. Are there any tasks or responsibilities that you could delegate to others or streamline in some way? Could you talk to your supervisor about the possibility of adjusting your workload or schedule to better accommodate your needs? If you're feeling stuck and unfulfilled in your current job, it might be worth considering other career options that align better with your interests and values. This could involve exploring new industries or taking courses to develop new skills. It's important to remember that change can be scary, but it can also bring new opportunities and growth. Ultimately, it's important to take the time to reflect on what you truly want out of life and to work towards creating a balance that works for you. This may involve making some difficult decisions, but it's worth it in the long run to prioritize your well-being and happiness. Thank you, but I still don't think that this is going to work. And he goes on telling me why am I wrong, I guess. And pretty much that's it. You can simulate this conversation forever. So it's really, I mean, I do have a separate chat for therapy with Chat GPT. Of course, I'm not gonna show it here, but I'm just telling you from experience. It's good to be able to talk even with a chatbot, but to express your thoughts, because at the end of the day, all we need is to be able to externalize our thoughts. We tend to think we know what we're thinking, but sometimes we don't know. We don't know what's the problem, what's the root of the problem. And when we talk to a therapist, when we talk to ChatGPT, or when we are journaling, we tend to do the same thing. We write down what our thoughts are and we try to get to the root of the problem. A therapist doesn't do magic. He just tries to get into the root of the problem. He tries to understand what's causing you the stress, and that's it. That's the same logic that ChatGPT applies. Now, the biggest difference is that ChatGPT doesn't see you in real life. It doesn't see your feelings, and because of that, there are a few, barriers between ChatGPT and you. But it's still a great way to, be more relaxed every day. So I recommend doing therapy sessions with ChatGPT daily. Hello and welcome to a new lesson within this course where we will learn how to simulate a discussion with a customer or a buyer. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and tell ChatGPT that in this chat you will act as a customer for my services. You are the edgy type, the type of customer very skeptical about my products. So you should always try to play with different types of customers. This way you can develop your communication skills first of all, and you can you can have some fun with ChatGPT at the same time and develop yourself. ChatGPT will be the edgy type, the type of customer very skeptical about my products, the type that thinks, or alright, this is enough, I guess, for ChatGPT, at least for now. All right. Um, and I mean, I didn't even need to start a conversation. ChatGPT did it for me, so why should I wait any longer? He asked me whether I can tell him more about the product I'm offering. So, we're currently offering this book for $25, while you can buy it in electronic format if you have a Kindle for just $9. This book has been has been written by a very successful entrepreneur who has multiple multi-million dollar businesses and what else can I tell him? It's a bestseller within our products. Everyone likes it. While it sounds like the author of the book has achieved significant success, can you tell me more about the specific content of the book and how it can benefit me as a reader? Additionally, what sets this book apart from other books on the same topic that are available in the market? By reading this book, you will understand more about the life of the author and the lows and the ups and downs he went through. But as an edgy customer, I'm not necessarily convinced that reading about an author's life and experiences will directly benefit me. Can you provide more specific details about the content of the book, such as what topics are covered, what strategies or insights the author shares, and how that can help me in my own life or business endeavors? Also, what sets this book apart from other similar books in the market? Wow, he's so edgy. I cannot share contents of the book directly with you, since that would basically mean that I'm spoiling the book for you, which I don't want and can't do. This book is set apart from the others just because it is it includes lots of real life examples when it comes down to the strategies that the book teaches you. What kind of strategies is the book teaching you? You might wonder. Well, it contains everything from relationship advices to budgeting advices. I understand you're a little reluctant to share specific details about a book, but as an edgy customer, I need to know more in order to make an informed decision about whether to purchase it or not. I mean, can you at least provide a general overview of the strategies and advice that the book covers? Additionally, how does the author's personal experiences and insights make the book unique and more valuable than other similar books on the market? Well, what can I tell him? I mean, I'm getting frustrated here, honestly. um, well, the book starts by covering strategies and examples of how to solve relationship problems. Then it shows you how you can go through tough moments in your life. Then it has portions where it teaches you about finances, and it also teaches you about career advices. All right. The only thing that sets this book apart from others is that, or the reason that the author's personal experiences and insights make the book unique are that he is a well-known person, and everyone is looking for role models, so he is considered one. Thank you for sharing that overview of the book's content. While it sounds like the book covers a wide range of topics, I'm still not entirely convinced that it offers anything particularly unique or valuable compared to other similar books on the market. Can you tell me more about how the author's personal experiences and insights make the advice and strategies in the book more effective and actionable for readers? What specific examples of or case studies does the book draw upon to illustrate its points? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I can't share anything else. Would you like to buy the book or no? So he's still not convinced that the book offers enough value for me to justify the cost. Without more information about the specific strategies and insights contained in the book and how they can benefit him, he doesn't feel comfortable making a purchase. Thank you for your time, but I will have to pass on this offer. Wow, I didn't expect to be so difficult to convince a chatbot to purchase an non-existing book. This was hard, and he didn't purchase the book. Wow, this was a great simulation, to be honest. So again, the thing is, you have to set the type of customer, what are his expectations, and what are you giving him. This came from top of my head. I didn't even know what kind of thing I'm selling to him, but it was fun. It was really fun. I don't get how $25 is an unjustified price for a book. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't understand, but I mean, a little bit it is, I guess. But it depends. Well, it isn't that much actually. Anyway, he was a very edgy customer. I don't like this customer. I mean, I can't. I mean, maybe I should try and develop my communication skills up to the point where I can convince this edgy customer. I didn't try very hard, to be honest, because I was getting frustrated, and I didn't even think that ChatGPT would put such a fight. I mean, it's interesting what this thing can do, what ChatGPT is able to do. But anyway, I hope this lesson has been helpful for you and interesting, because I had fun. But I mean, it's interesting. It's just so fun for me as well as for you probably. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson.